Oh. Hello. Yes, yes. If I remember correctly, you're the anxiety girl, right? Hello, hello, beautiful people. We have 14 people right now. Well, I do talk a lot about poop, right? So, like, it's a fair question. No, I'm not sitting on a toilet. Okay, let's see. Who do we have here? Give me 1 second, guys, because this disappeared. Greetings, Belgium. I was hoping you guys would win the World Cup, but it didn't happen. Uh, but hey, you put up a good game against Brazil, right? Glitchy Gabe, thank you for the support, my man. Thank you for the support. I think you've been here for a while, right? Like I think you're here since the fitness days. I have PTSD. Can MDMA alone help with that? Okay, good question. Uh, Probably not. But I could be wrong. But I would give you this analogy. Think of rice, okay? Like plain rice, just plain old rice. Now, most people, they would put some salt and pepper on the rice, okay? But you're not mistaking the salt and you're not mistaking the pepper for the rice. The rice is the rice. In the same way, PTSD, anxiety, all these things, think of psychedelics and MDMA as the salt and the pepper, not the rice, not the actual rice itself, okay? So it could help you, but I wouldn't look for it as the Messiah. I wouldn't look at MDMA or even psychedelics as Jesus Christ, per se. Okay, so I wanted to ask about microdosing magic mushrooms and whether it induced psychosis. Have you ever experienced negative side effects like anxiety, microdosing, or psychosis symptoms? Okay, good question. And then we'll talk about the finding purpose. So, the microdosing and anxiety and psychosis, very good question. I think you guys should listen to this. I actually just made a video on this yesterday. It will be posted in about a week. The reason why people experience anxiety when they microdose is because they haven't given themselves enough time to adjust their plane of their consciousness, the plane of reality that they exist on. They haven't given themselves enough time to adjust. I know at least 4 people close to me. I have a direct relationship with them. They microdosed for a month, 2 months at the most. They were feeling fantastic. They were feeling on top of the world. And they were swearing by it. They were giving me phone calls. Wow, I can't believe this. I feel like a superhuman. You know, microdosing is the best thing that happened to me. And 1-2 months down the line, it gave them anxiety. It scared them away. They don't even dabble with psychedelics anymore. The reason for this is the jump from one plane of existence, from one plane of consciousness, which is, you know, whatever you're programmed with, to this new way of being was way too fast, way too quick. And that's what causes the anxiety. So yes, microdosing can lead to anxiety, okay? And that's why I would recommend you take your time with microdosing itself. And even when you start microdosing, go on like a 1 day on, 3 days off, 1 day on, 3 days off. And the minute you get a little bit of anxiety, walk away from the psychedelics. Walk away. You've got to give enough time for integration. You've got to give enough time for letting your mind-body complex readjust itself to this new way of being. Saeed, so good to see you do this, man. Just checking in. Can't stay long. We're having a night out here in Ireland. Tristan, my man, I will reach out to you soon so we can have our one-on-one talk via like video, Skype or something. So have a blast and enjoy your evening. We'll be doing my next mushroom experience soon to eliminate some problems for good, followed by ayahuasca. Thank you for your inspiration, brother. All the love, Tristan, and enjoy your night out. You're a righteous babe. I don't know about righteous, but I'm definitely a babe, so thank you. The reason why we carry the same vibe or emotion from dreams to reality is because it is your consciousness that creates a dream. Okay, hold on. The reason why you carry the same vibe or emotion from dreams to reality is because it is your consciousness that creates a dream, and you're not just a physical body. Interesting. I've been thinking about that a lot actually as of late. So I'll talk a little bit about the dreams in a little bit. Can you explain what Sufism is? I'm a Muslim and don't know much about it. Okay, let's talk about that. First, I want to give a shout out to Vazer, V-A-Z-E-R. You're always leaving me comments. You sent me some fan art. I really, really appreciate you. So thank you very much. It's a shout out for Vazer. So, can you explain Sufism? I'm a Muslim and I don't know much about it. Okay. Sufism, it's the mystical school of Islam. Now, I would argue that the Prophet himself, Prophet Muhammad, and many of his companions, they call them the Sahaba, were Sufis themselves. It's just there wasn't a label to describe them as Sufis. Sufis are concerned with the mystical experience. You see, all religions, Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, all of them, they're based on the mystical experience, okay? Now, we read the doctrine, we read the books, we read the intellectual stuff. But all this intellectual stuff, it's just, they're trying to explain the mystical experience. They're trying to put it in words. The Prophet Muhammad used to go into a cave and meditate, disappear for days, sometimes months, just meditating in a cave. He was having these mystical experiences, much like the yogis do in the Himalayas, much like the Tibetan monks do in Tibet, okay? And there are many different ways to induce this. So the way the Prophet used to do it, he used to go, he used to meditate, he used to pray, which is the Muslim prayer. He used to recite the name of God, because they were, you know, the word Allah was already a common practice in those times, okay? So you can argue that the Prophet was a Sufi, because all a Sufi really is someone who is looking to experience God in the moment. Okay, so the early Muslims were Sufis. There wasn't a label to call them Sufis. Okay, a little bit later on, because the consciousness of the people at the time wasn't ready to handle all this mysticism, people wanted something. They wanted to write something. They wanted words. They wanted rules to follow. They wanted ways to pray to follow. Right, and so a lot of people lost the point of what the Prophet was trying to say, which is experience God for yourself. Go for the mystical experience. Instead of being so addicted to the food on the menu, why don't you actually eat the food? Okay? So the Sufis are the branch of Islam that's eating the food, where the mainstream ones, okay, and as someone who grew up in a conservative Muslim country, let me tell you, most Muslims out there, and I will say this boldly, are just looking at the menu. They're not eating the food. The Sufis don't care so much about the menu. They want to eat the food. They're more concerned with eating the food, okay? And that's the mystical experience. That's the ego transcending experience. And the original Sufis, when the movement began to bring back mysticism, started in a period of the Umayyad Khalifa. Okay, Al-Khilafah al-Amawiyya. It's the Umayyads were people who were very materialistic. They lived in palaces, they ruled over the Muslim world, and the Sufi movement came as a counter movement to that materialism that was taking over the Muslim world at the time. It was basically bringing it back. It was a movement back to the Prophet and the way the early Muslims practiced Islam, which was very much in line with Sufism, very much the mystical experience, feeling God for yourself. Okay, so a lot more I can say, but I think I'll cut it off here for now. Salam ya walad Lulu. Which Lulu is this? Is this my sister Lulu or is this another Lulu? Okay, I don't know which Lulu is this, but salam. Ahla wa sahla. Okay. Could you talk about psychedelics during a no-fap flatline or withdrawal stage? They're honestly there's not much relation here. There's not much I can talk about because, like, I think that's a little bit, now you're going too much into your mind and you're trying to create problems where there aren't any. Okay? I don't see how that is a problem. Like, I don't see how that is even related. Psychedelics are related to the no-fap flatline. I don't see a problem here. I don't see a correlation. Remember, psychedelics are a tool. You can use them however you want, and they will sort of, let me give you an example. Okay, I'm gonna assume you're talking about microdosing specifically. You could use the microdose to help you with no-fap. Okay, you could, as you microdose, as you take the mushroom, as you take the LSD, you could look at it before you take it and say, can you please help me with my no-fap journey, with my no-fap stage of life right now? And it will help you. Okay, so I guess if you want to use psychedelics in that context, by all means. Okay, so I'm really sorry in the beginning. I think I misunderstood the question, but now I see what you're trying to say. You're basically, if I understand you correctly, you're saying, how can I use psychedelics to help me with no-fap, right? And the answer is, before you take the psychedelics, just set the intention. Okay, I have a ritual before I microdose every morning where I sit down and I either set an intention or I say a blessing to the spirit of the fungus, okay, and then I take it. And so if you have the intention of no-fap, just sit down before you microdose, before you take the psychedelic, and say, can you please today help me with no-fap? And then kind of go from there. Saeed would like to see a day in the live video of what you do in a regular day. Honestly, I'm way too lazy to shoot footage, okay? That's the only thing. I'm way too lazy to drag around the camera and shoot footage, but I know this is a popular demand, so one of these days it will happen, okay? I promise you one of these days it will happen. Why do I never experience Afterglow the day after microdose? I have microdose, LSD, and mushrooms. I feel amazing the day I dose, then I go back to being depressed the day after. I don't know. That's my answer. I don't know. I don't know. I can take a speculation. The other variables have to also be taken into account. What do I mean by other variables? Are you eating right? Are you taking cold showers? Are you exercising? Are you oxygenating your body? Are you getting sunshine? If you're doing all the other variables in the most optimal way possible, if you're maximizing all the other variables, you're probably going to feel the quote-unquote afterglow for days after, because you're already maximized in all the other areas of life. So if you're telling me that you feel depressed the next day, my speculation is you're not maximizing all the other variables in life. Because if you're meditating, eating absolutely right, healthy gut microbiome, you're taking your cold showers, you're exercising, you're oxygenating your body, if everything you were doing like on point, you're maximizing, the microdose will probably carry on for days after. That's just my speculation. So hopefully that helps you. Let's see, what do we got? Can't wait to listen to this later. Take care, brothers. Tristan, my man, see you later. Mohammed Abdel Kadir, nice to see you here, brother. Abbas Khan, I know this is not your fitness channel, but I want your advice. I don't have time to the gym. Do you know the best diet to lose weight? That's for a different, again, like you said, it's for fitness, but you asked it here. I'll give you a quick answer. The best diet is whatever diet you need right now. I don't know what it is that you need right now. Some people, they need to go full vegan right now because that's what's going to help them right now. Some people, they need to go carnivore like Jordan Peterson because that's what helps them right now. So I don't know. The best diet is whatever diet you need right now, and I don't know you in person. I don't know all the other variables in your life, so I can't answer that question. Mary, oh, Said, you're a cutie. Thank you. Thank you. It always takes a beautiful person to see beauty. It always takes a cutie to see a cutie. My curls are so hot. Okay, again, same thing. It takes a cutie, it takes a beauty to see a cutie to see a beauty, okay? Okay, we have back off Mary, he's mine. Okay, alive and awake. Again, I appreciate all the love. I really appreciate it, okay? Like I said, it takes beautiful people to see beauty. Are you dating anyone? No, I am not dating anyone right now. There seems to be a lot of interest in that particular aspect of my life. Unfortunately, you aren't taking into consideration Prophet Muhammad's personal life before jumping to the conclusion that he is the right path. I think you might be referring to the conversation with the Sufi. So, unfortunately, you aren't taking into consideration Prophet Muhammad's personal life before. So, let me explain to you my perspective on Prophet Muhammad. So I think Prophet Muhammad, again, like I'm an idiot. I always tell you guys I'm an idiot. So these are all just speculations, subjective bullshit. I'm a bullshitter, okay? There is no other way to put around it. Watch, sometimes in my videos, I'm confused about what I'm talking about. I'm like, oh, is this it? I'm confused, okay? So, but from what I could gather so far about Prophet Muhammad, he was a high being. He was definitely vibrating at a higher consciousness, especially relative to the times that he was in, where he was basically with people that would bury their daughter because it's not a boy, it's a girl. That's the consciousness that he was surrounded with at the time. So keep in mind the times, okay? Keep in mind the times. I think he was a high being. I think he was definitely onto something. And I don't know if he was a Buddha. I don't know if he was a Jesus. I don't know if he was a Ramana Maharshi, a Ramakrishna. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was. I don't know. But he was definitely needed in those dark periods in the Arabian Peninsula, in the Arabian deserts. Okay. So I still think he was a positive person and a much needed person for those times and for that, specifically for that location. Okay, the Arab desert, very rough place when you're burying your daughters alive as babies. You know, that's pretty crazy when you think about it. So always take into account the time period. Thank you, bro. I feel Islam is a very spiritual religion and it gets started. I agree 100%. Said, be Muslim again? That's unlikely. That's very unlikely. Muhammad had 11 wives and 9 simultaneously, including a 6-year-old child wife. How can be the one who is not looking at the menu? Again, like I said, I don't think Muhammad was perfect. I don't think he was a Jesus. Okay, but also take into account the times that he was in. Okay, just take it into account. Hello, everybody. Hello, Luke. Benj Levy, Saeed, by the way, I love your obsession with Alan Watts. I'm kind of having an obsession with Alan Watts as of late. Same thing with Christians in my family. They're so obsessed with the menu and can't see the food. Exactly. I love Sufi music. Oh, Sufi music is so dope. And by the way, you asked me in a comment before how I like the Gurdwara, and I absolutely loved it. I loved it, okay? I have 2 very, 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 very close Sikh friends, like very close. And I was invited to a Sikh wedding before, and I went to the Gurdwara the first time, and I was fascinated by it. I went again when it was Guru Nanak's birthday. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. Sikh people are some of the most generous people, and I think it has to do with the way the religion started. You know, Guru Nanak basically developed this idea of the kitchen, which I can't remember the name of. And then he basically invited everyone to come in. So even the very humble beginnings of Sikhism was based on generosity and community, and I absolutely love it. Thoughts on Kabbalah? I know very little about Kabbalah, so I can't comment on that. I know very little about it. I know they use a lot of sacred geometry and architecture, and they kind of see beyond the physical. I know it's the mystical school of Judaism, and I am 100% sure that one of these days I will get to explore it. Right now, I'm kind of like getting hijacked by Buddhism and Hinduism, to be 100% honest with you guys. Indian, let's call it Indian religions, okay? Because they have a different flavor. They have a different flavor. And this is the flavor that I'm attracted to at the moment. Saeed, Playboy Justin from Instagram. Hello, brother. Hello, brother. Nice to see you here, and hope everything is good with you. Muhammad Abdul Qadir, again, I am an ex-Muslim, and I can clearly see how Muhammad might have been on the right path, but he definitely went astray and began making up things for his own benefit. Very possibly. Very possibly. I kind of agree with you that I definitely don't think Muhammad was a fully self-realized being. I don't think he was a Jesus. I don't think he was a Buddha. Okay? That's just my opinion. Are so hot. Thank you. Let's see. What do we have here? Hi, Saeed. I recently saw a picture of you holding a sidekick on Instagram, so I guess you are practicing martial arts. If so, what impact has martial arts had on your life and personal development? I've been doing martial arts since grade 12. I started with wrestling, and then I did Muay Thai and Krav Maga. I actually haven't been doing martial arts. I've just been doing a lot of flexibility work, and I plan on getting back into martial arts when I move to Thailand and actually learn it from the Thai people. Learn Muay Thai from the Thai people. But I think martial arts are incredible because, see, you've got to recognize that although we're one consciousness experiencing itself, it is still experiencing itself in all these different manifestations. A fish swims in the ocean. If you take a fish out of the ocean and say, hey fish, go fly like a bird, the fish would freak out and it would die. And if you take a bird, put the bird in the ocean and say, hey, go and swim, the bird's gonna die. In the same way, men and women are kind of a little bit different, okay? Men have more testosterone, which can be destructive. So martial arts is a perfect way of channeling that testosterone, channeling that natural masculine aggression, okay, which is an element of the universe, and putting it in a respectful manner. And that's why I love martial arts. I think, if I was like some kind of in charge of the education system, I would put martial arts as mandatory for the boys to do it, because that way they can channel it and learn how to respect one another. So I am absolutely fond of martial arts. Cosmic giggles to everyone, of course, always. Always. Mohammed, do you mean all the world lord thing? Okay. How do I flirt my guy? The best way to flirt is just be yourself. Love from India. Oh, love you and hope to visit India soon. Especially now that I'm learning about Hinduism and Vedanta specifically. I'm kind of an addict with some of the Vedanta podcasts. I would love to come visit India. Go to an ashram or something. Do you smoke much weed? Not anymore. I used to, but not anymore. Okay, so عملاق انت. شكرا حبيب قلبي. شكرا. Saeed, do you believe in one God? Absolutely. It is the one experiencing itself in the many. Not materialistic when there are multiple accounts. Okay. Saeed, last time I did shrooms, I took 2.5 grams. It was incredible. But I haven't had any major life-changing experience from taking shrooms. In general, I am looking for something that's not there. You didn't have a life-changing experience because you're expecting a life-changing experience because you watch assholes like me tell you about how they went to heaven and about how they were talking to God and angels, and then you think that's the kind of experience I'm going to have. And the answer is that's not necessarily the case, okay? Psychedelic trips could rather be ordinary in nature, okay? They don't have to be life-changing. They do not have to be life-changing. You shouldn't really have any expectation when it comes to psychedelics. You should just take it because it will take you wherever you need to go. Okay, so be careful of assholes like me who sometimes have a tendency to over-glorify experience, okay? Sufism is exactly like Sikhi. Exactly. Yes, they have a huge influence. You should look up, by the way, a guy named Satinder Sartash on YouTube. He makes beautiful, beautiful music, like Sufi Sikh music. Have you ever taken a psychedelic break and allowed yourself to incorporate your lesson from them without using them for a period of time? Do you find you're too dependent on psychedelics? Very, very, very good question. So, before I even started microdosing, I had some kind of a ritual where I would take a big dose of psychedelics once a month, about once a month, and I would spend the next 29 days reflecting on it. And I feel like the reason why I can speak about psychedelics, why I can speak about some of these high-level thinking concepts in my videos with relative comfort and relative competency is because I've taken a lot of time to integrate psychedelics, okay? I've definitely, like I said, I had a ritual for like a good year, okay? Where I would do it once a month, and for 29 days, I would spend really deeply reflecting on what the hell did I just experience? What is going on here? What the hell is this, okay? What is this? What is this? What did I experience? And I would spend about 29 days leading up to the next trip just reflecting on that. At some point, if you walked into my apartment, I had at least 100 papers with theories on life, okay? Like one paper, like a detailed, the multiverse theory. And like, wherever you looked, it was just like a madman. Like if you've ever seen that movie where Russell Crowe was like a mad mathematician, and he had like all these, you'd walk into his room and he had all these like math equations all around them. I was kind of like that, but like wacky theories about life. So as far as answering your question, I still do make sure after a big psychedelic trip that I do take my time to integrate. And I want to emphasize how critical it is to take your time to integrate what the hell has just happened. Okay, what is this? And try to understand it. Am I too dependent on psychedelics? A little bit, yes. I'll be 100% honest with you. I am trying to slowly but surely wean myself off of the microdosing because I just love it so much. It puts me in a state of flow. I glow. Like I'm so in the present moment, and I definitely think I'm a little bit too dependent on it at the moment. And I'm slowly trying to wean myself off of it. I find that here in Canadian winters, I need the stuff. I sound like an addict because I'm a little bit, because winters here are brutal, they're depressing, there's no sunlight, you need a little bit of something to lift you up. But I definitely don't want to microdose for too long. I'm trying to slowly wean myself off of it and just kind of become the psychedelic state in every moment. So hopefully that answers your question. Saeed, have you noticed an increase in synchronicities in your life since became more spiritually aware? If so, how do these manifest in your life? Well, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So much so that I don't even regard the phenomena of synchronicity as anything special. I don't really look at it as anything special anymore. because it is the way of things, because everything is perfect, because everything is written, okay? Don't kid yourselves, don't fool yourselves. You only have the illusion of free will. You only have the illusion of the experience of free will. But all is already written, okay? Just like you would watch one of my videos. Now, you might be halfway through a video and you might be like, whoa, I wonder what he's gonna say. You know, it's like, but the video is uploaded, it's done. What I'm gonna say, I already said in the video. It's the same thing with everything. It's all perfectly designed, excuse me, perfectly designed game, okay? So I don't even really regard synchronicities as anything special anymore. I just see it as part of the perfection of being, okay? Part of the perfection of creation. Do you know who Corey is? No idea, but I do remember you mentioned that name in the comments. All right, greetings from Czech Republic. Love this channel, love you guys. I love you, Jan. Thank you very much for tuning in. What is a microdose? What is microdose? Is there a macrodose? A macrodose is probably for shrooms anything 3 grams and above. 2 grams and below is, we're looking at a microdosing territory. There is also the no man's land where it's neither a microdose nor a macrodose, kind of like what the Buddha described in one of the states of consciousness, neither perception, non-perception. So there is definitely that gray area as well. Do you think 1 meal a day has positive or negative effects on me if I'm 17? Does it stunt growth? I want to look this up because the logic that I'm looking at here, if eating once a day boosts up growth hormone, theoretically, now this is complete horseshit. I'm talking out of my ass. I don't have any backing to this. But theoretically, if growth hormone is what makes you grow your muscles and get taller, shouldn't it theoretically help you? Maybe, I don't know. I think you would still have to be getting in enough calories, okay? I think if you're getting in enough calories and you're eating once a day and you're boosting that growth hormone on a regular basis, it might actually benefit your growth. But as far as stunting your growth, I don't see how that's possible. If you're getting enough calories, enough energy, I just don't see how that's possible. So at best case scenario, I think it might help. Worst case scenario, it won't stunt your growth. Just make sure you're getting enough calories, enough energy. How can junk food affect your mental health? Wow. You can answer that question right now. Take your phone out, go to Uber Eats or call your nearest Domino's and order a big pizza, okay? Like a big one, a medium or a large, and eat it all by yourself. And tell me how you feel after, and tell me how you feel tomorrow, and tell me how is it like taking a shit tomorrow, okay? That's my answer to you on how junk food affects mental health. Try it for yourself. Okay. Saeed, gotta make a video on girls and mind games they play. Need that knowledge. Girls are not the only ones that play mind games. Boys do. Everybody does. And I think we've gotta, at some point, grow out of it. All of us. Okay, not just girls, but boys too. If you think girls are playing games, that means you're playing games too. Okay, that's my answer. Talk about your thoughts on aliens, please. My expertise, as if I'm some kind of an expert on anything, is limited on aliens, but I definitely went down the Anunnaki rabbit hole for a little bit, and I think there might be something to it. There might be something to it. It definitely seems like they've interfered and they had a hand in the building of the pyramids, and they had a hand in all the knowledge that the Babylonians and the Sumerians had. I mean, they had incredible amounts of knowledge. The Egyptians had maps of the solar system. How the hell do you have accurate maps of the solar system? It seems to me there has been interference. There continues to be interference from aliens, okay? Again, I don't know too much about it, but it seems to me pretty clear. There is something to it, okay? Especially with the whole building the pyramids and the whole ancient Egyptian scene. Are you going to talk about poop? Well, I think you just came in now. We've at least mentioned poop 3-4 times. So just rewatch the live stream if you've missed out on the good stuff. ديدو اشتقنا لك. والله وأنا مشتاق لكم أكتر. أوكي أنا مشتاق لكم أكتر. وكل سنة وأنت سالمة للوش. أوكي كل سنة وأنت سالمة. بس عندي إحساس إنه ماما إلها علاقة بالموضوع. فماما حبيبتي هاي بوصلة إليك. I don't know, man. He was born poor, died a prince, defeated all his enemies, of which he had ample. Maybe you're talking about Muhammad. I don't know. Okay, I'm sorry that it might seem like I kept bringing this subject up. It's just that I sent them all at once, but I guess it delayed the submission. No, I love your input. I would love to talk about this actually. Like if you want to talk about more about it, just leave comments. Love from Pakistan. Shout out. I know I have a lot of friends from Pakistan and love you guys. How often do you trip on psychedelics? I don't trip as much anymore. It's mostly I microdose. Not much, but when I was tripping a lot, big trips, I would do once a month. Cheers, Saeed. Thank you. Have a beautiful day. Talk about cold showers for beginners. Start off with warm. Don't rush your way into it. It might be too much of a shock for your nervous system to go full out cold in the beginning. Okay, so I would take a warm shower, do your thing, clean your hair, clean your face, do what you need to do, okay? And then do 1 minute of cold exposure, just 1 minute. And within 3 weeks, work your way up so you can do 5 minutes, okay? I'm using Ritalin, but I still can't study work properly. I can't focus on anything. What should I do, brother? Meditate. I think if you meditate and take cold showers, your focus should be enhanced. I remember all those papers from your older videos. Yes, we have a witness here to my crazy, whatever you want to call it, phase, where I would, again, do psychedelics and spend the next 29 days reflecting on it, and then, do it again and do the same thing all over. Okay, what do we have here? How do you build tolerance to mushrooms? Do you build tolerance to mushrooms? Absolutely. Absolutely, you do. If you start to microdose too frequently, you will build tolerance. When you originally started psychedelics, what were your intentions? Was there something in particular you were struggling and looking to improve with the help psychedelics? You have great questions. Creative, okay? I want to get to know your name because you have really good questions. Okay, so was there something in particular you were struggling with? Yeah, I started psychedelics because I heard Joe Rogan talk about them in his podcast. And there's a guy, he was talking with, his name is Duncan Trussell, which I have his picture here. You see that guy with the crazy hat? He is absolutely hilarious. I have his picture here to remind me that to always take things lightly and just kind of don't forget the sense of humor. So I heard him talk about it with Joe Rogan, and I'm like hearing them talk about love and kindness, and I'm like, what the hell? And they're talking about mushrooms, and I'm like, what? These guys are talking about mushrooms? Because in my mind, I was under the impression that you don't fuck with acid and shrooms. They will make you go mad. I was under that impression, and I was like, I'll never touch that stuff. But then I start to hear Duncan Trussell and Joe Rogan talk about it and talk about love and how it can help the world and alleviate suffering. And I'm like, what? What? And then I ignored it. But then I kept watching Joe Rogan podcasts. What's going on, bro? I'm doing a live I'm doing a live thing. So it should be like another 20 minutes.
No, I'm going. I gotta go.
Okay. Yeah. So what was I saying? Yo, Osama, do you need the selfie stick? I have a selfie stick if you want to use it on your phone.
I'm shooting a few videos. exercise videos for the channel, so it's okay. We'll use it.
Okay.
But the SD card.
Oh, the SD card. Guys, give me 1 second, okay?
SD card?
Yeah. We'll get another tripod, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so I ignored it the first time. I ignored, all this talk about love and kindness. I'm like, okay, whatever. But then I started to keep listening to Joe Rogan again and again, and mushrooms keeps coming up. And I'm like, okay, I gotta see what this is about. So I set the intention, never fully pursued it. One day I was hanging around with friends and they show me a bag. They're like, hey, look, we got these mushrooms. I look, I'm like, and I'm still a little bit scared. So I don't do it. I'm like, okay, no, you guys do it. I'm here to enjoy a beautiful day. We were in nature. And then as we were leaving the car, they already ate the mushrooms. I told them, let's go back to the car. I gotta try this out. So I tried it out, took 2 grams, and I was connected to nature in a way I probably haven't been connected since I was a child. I was kissing trees, I was hugging them, I was like practically naked, just in a waterfall, climbing on rocks. And I immediately realized after the trip that I have to examine this. I have to examine this state of being, because I don't remember the last time I experienced this much freedom, this much liberation, this much joy. So to answer your question, you could say that it's been long coming, that I've been doing a lot of personal development work as is at the time, and that the next stage in my development was to experiment with psychedelics and to go to the next level of the game, okay? So I feel like by virtue of feeling the urge to do psychedelics, you're already pretty much ready to do them, okay? يقبشني السومي يقبشني الماما okay. How do you catch, okay, where are we right now here? Let's see. Omad helped me grow muscle very quickly. Do you think it's true that soy products says enough the next day and I'm fine? But I haven't had a sickness, I haven't had a bug, I haven't had a flu, I haven't had anything like that I don't even remember the last time. So even though it's winter here and it's brutal and there's no sun and there's a lot of bugs and everybody's sick, but if you do take care of yourself, really treat your body like a temple, then you'll be okay. Saeed, I find a lot of boredom when I'm trying to start a healthy lifestyle, and I always have a backlash where I sink into my old lifestyle. Do you have any tips on how to prevent the boredom? Boredom is the original sin. I know they say the original sin is eating the apple, but you have to go even before. The original sin is boredom, meaning all of this that we're doing, this dance, the creation dance, this lila, this play, the play of the divine, it all is happening as absurd as it sounds because God was simply too bored. Okay, so boredom is the original sin. Boredom is the seed of creation. Okay, creation would not have happened had God not been bored. Okay, so boredom is quite a natural thing to experience. Okay, and often when you're bored, that is, how can I put it? That is an opportunity. I see boredom as an opportunity to examine your life, okay? Like I mentioned how I drive Uber, and sometimes I'm driving and I get bored, and then I'm like, why am I bored? Interesting. And then in that boredom, I start to just be like, oh, I'm just here driving a car. Oh, okay. Oh, I don't have to be having an orgasm right now. I don't have to be in ecstasy. I'm just driving a car. Oh, okay. I guess I'm driving a car. This is the particular moment in this time-space continuum where I am driving a car. And when you realize that you don't have to be ecstatic all the time. You don't have to be happy all the time. You don't have to do something you're so interested in or so like passionate about. You could just do boring things, quote unquote, and just be in them. Because in this craziness, in the hysteria of trying to capture bliss and happiness, I want to be bliss, I want to be happy all the time, right? You miss the point. You miss that life is suffering, that you're going to get old, that you're going to die, and you're going to age, and that inherently this existence has the elements suffering inherently programmed within it. Then you look at boredom from a different perspective. You don't see boredom as, oh, I'm bored, I gotta do something and be excited. You see it as, I guess I'm bored now. Okay, I'm bored. So when you're bored, you're bored. And when you're excited, you're excited. Yeah, it's when we hysterically chase bliss and we want to be happy all the time, we're creating desires and attachments leading to suffering. Okay, Arash, what's the best way to find your passion if you don't have one yet? Just working a 9-to-5 job, but not liking it. There isn't a blueprint. There isn't one thing I can tell you to do, you're not gonna magically just find your passion if I tell you to do this or do that. But I can give you ideas, I can give you things that have helped me. I mean, this is my passion, this is what I do, okay? That have helped me figure out what I want to do for the rest of my life. Look at what you were good at when you were a child, okay? Look back and see what is it that you were good at, because children are pure expressions of the divine. You know, they're just so magnificent. They're just being. You know, they're just being. Children are just being. Pure being. Pure, just they're pure. They're pure. You can have some cues as to what it is that you might be good at, what it is that perhaps is your dharma, that perhaps is your passion. Like for me, I was an extremely active little fella, and I think my mom is with us here, so she can probably, Mom, if you're here, tell everyone just how crazy I was and how jumpy and how hyperactive I was. I was very hyperactive, so fitness, health, sports, all that stuff was definitely one thing that I seem to have naturally going for me in this particular round, in this particular incarnation, in this particular birth. So then I started the fitness channel, which is, you know, it's got over 100,000 subscribers, and I was also quite a philosopher when I was like a little, I was like a little kid too, like small, short. I used to ask my mom who created God, and again, I think my mom is with us here, so she can approve of this message. So clearly there were some cues for me in this birth, what it is that I'm supposed to do. So maybe examine your childhood, okay? Examine your childhood, and that might give you some cues. It's a journey finding what your passion is, but examine your childhood. Okay. What do you think it will be like in the afterlife if some of us reach enlightenment nirvana? Ooh. Okay, so I'm reading about the 31 planes of existence in Buddhism right now, okay? And basically it's essentially maps for what happens when we die. And from what I'm understanding so far, your last few thoughts as you're about to die are going to propel you to your next life in whatever dimension. You might still be reborn as a human. You might go to other dimensions. You might go to the lower dimensions. If you're someone with a lot of hate, you might descend to the lower dimensions. If you're someone who's pure, you might actually go up to the godly heavens. All of this is within samsara. Nirvana is out of samsara. Nirvana is you cease to exist and you merge with the one. You merge with it all. Okay? So, I think it kind of is beyond the scope of this particular live stream, because there's other people that I want to get to their questions. But to put it to you in simple terms, I have videos coming up on this, by the way. But to put it to you in simple terms, your last few thoughts and intentions, your last few thoughts specifically, will propel you to your next life. And they say meditation is preparation for death. Okay, now you might be like, okay, so everything that I do in my life is gone to shit and I'm left with these last few thoughts. No, everything you've been doing in your life is going to determine what your next few thoughts are going to be when you die. And that's what propels you to your next life. Okay, so that's what I'm going to say for now, because I want to get to the rest of the questions. But look out for videos, look out for future videos on this. Creative, once again, what psychedelic visually gives you more clear lessons visually? I noticed with magic mushrooms, there were a lot of profound visuals, but no clear messages. I hear ayahuasca, probably, right? I hear ayahuasca. I heard ayahuasca was more precise, clear lessons for people since it's more intense. The first 5-6 times I did shrooms, I did not get any visuals. I got pure messages. Pure messages. It was only after about the 7th or 8th time that I started to see visuals. So I get a feeling that the mushroom spirit is so sophisticated that it will show you whatever you need to be shown in that particular moment. And if you've only seen visuals, the mushroom spirit essentially is telling you, hey, look at this carnival, look at this amusement park, look at this part of the amusement park where it's all like morphing, triangular, circular, geometrical shapes and colors and stuff. Basically, the mushroom spirit, because the mushroom is so sophisticated, is saying, hey, you don't need to hear anything. There's no words for you to be heard right now. Forget concepts, forget thoughts. Just sit down and enjoy the show. And if there is a message that you need to hear, that you're ready to hear in that moment, the mushroom will speak it to you. So that's sort of how I haven't received any visuals the first 6-7 trips. All I was hearing is words, concepts, messages. Words, thoughts, but that's just one plane of existence. Okay, then on subsequent trips, I've had trips where all I could see, all it was just visuals. Like there was no message whatsoever. Because at the time, the mushroom spirit wanted to just be like, okay, we're not going down the abstract and concept realm, plane of existence. We're gonna go down the geometrical, colorful part of the amusement park. So I would say just go along with whatever is happening in the trip, because that's exactly what you need at that particular moment. I haven't done ayahuasca, but I've heard of people doing ayahuasca and also mostly describing geometrical shapes and colorful things and visuals essentially. Then I've heard other people's experience where it was clear messages. So again, depending on the individual, I feel like whatever the individual needs, the psychedelic will deliver. That's just how I see it. How to learn to love myself, or at least accept myself. And performance anxiety, which is killing me. I can't be in the moment. I always think what to say, how to act. Okay, this problem is a problem of civilization. It's a problem of being social, of being civilized in a society. Because, you know, for most of the